If you thought that data security had got materially better in the last decade, you'd be seriously wrong. We're being taken to the cleaners. We are, after a fashion, electronically naked. In fact, until 1992, it was against the law to use the internet for commercial purposes. Imagine that. When Congress changed that restriction in 1992, we took this same porous, insecure network and made it the backbone of international finance, your personal finance. Everything your company does is on it or is exposed to it. In February 2012, the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, and many other major media announced that they had been completely turned inside out and penetrated electronically from China. In the same month, the security company Mandiant detailed in an extraordinary way the extent to which more than 100 of its clients had been robbed of technology blueprints, pricing information, negotiating strategies, all manner of intellectual property. And you also know, unless you've been living under a rock, that personal information of people, you, me, our families, from major retailers like Target and Neiman Marcus are for sale electronically by the boatload. We click on all kinds of stuff. You like it, you don't like it. Somebody sends you a joke, you click on that. Your colleagues do it, your employees do it, your family does it, and lots of the things we click on are poisonous. I mean electronically poisonous. They download malware into your system. That's how these things spread. I've told you how bad everything is, but I don't want to leave you with the impression that there's nothing to be done. I want to give you some information now you can really use in your company. Number one, you've got to understand that total security is a myth. So we're not talking about total security. We're talking about levels of risk that we have to manage. Then you've got to decide what you've really got to protect. What is it in your company that represents real value? You not only have to ask yourself what's important to you to protect, you've got to ask what does your adversary probably want? What does your competitor probably want? What does your attacker probably want? You need to segment your network access. Everybody in your organization doesn't need access to everything that you know, that your company knows. Define your network. Target was penetrated by its heating, cooling, and refrigerating contractor. Wow, why did they need my credit card information? Well, the answer is they didn't. That was, number one, a failure to segment the networks effectively, but it was also a failure of Target to impose on outsiders, or people they thought of as outsiders, the same kinds of controls they imposed on itself. You've got to also know what's happening in your network and assign responsibility for it. Target had lots of data about what was happening, but they had no way to turn data into actual actionable information. That was a failure to implement available technology, but it was also a failure to assign responsibility for people who had this information to do something about it. Unless you can get a high-ranking representative from each of these silos, usually at the deputy level, in one room, understanding that each of them has a piece of this problem, you can't begin to manage it. The bad thing here is that this is not a problem that we're going to solve. But strategic problems are never really solved. Hopefully they go out of date sooner or later. And in the meantime, they're problems that have to be managed. But attended to correctly, this one can be managed, and your company's risk can be brought down. Thank you.
It's a human legacy we want to leave behind us.